Alright guys, I'm going to try a round two because apparently I'm pretty bad at Facebook Live. It only recorded maybe the first 2 minutes of what I was going to say, and that's okay. Facebook Live is a weird thing. Put on the spot. Every time I do this, I have so many ideas in my head, and then once I start going though, I get caught up in it. People join and I lose sight of what I'm talking about. But if you caught the first time that I recorded this, it's going to be kind of the same thing, but I just feel like I was just getting to the good part when things cut off. So this is for the struggling students out there, in particular in PT school. It could be for really anyone in life if you're in a rut right now. And, this is a really good example. At this Facebook Live, I tried to do it 5 minutes ago. It broke down. When the struggle bus is going, the struggle bus is real, and life just wants to make you have to work for it. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a take two, and we are just going to approach it with a growth mindset that didn't go great the first time, and now we're going after it again. I wanted to say to all of these students out there that if you are going through a time right now that you feel like you're struggling, and that can be whether you have a test coming up, whether it's just finding time to study, whether you feel like you can't keep up with anyone else in your class. For me in particular right now, I have my board exam next Thursday, and man, do I feel the weight of the pressure of this exam and the weight of it. It decides whether I get my license or not. And the reality is the last few days have been rough. And I feel like it comes in waves, but it's been really tough to have a positive attitude. I just kept putting off taking another practice exam to prepare for the real thing. And after I really reflected on it, the reason is because I just felt insecure, negative, that it wasn't going to go well, and so I wanted to put it off. And the reality is I've been struggling. And what I wanted to share with you is if you're a student, I've been there and I'm still there, and it's okay. So over the last few days and weeks, I've gotten a lot of really wonderful messages from people all over. Ever since I've joined the social media community of physical therapy and students, people have reached out about the podcast and other things, and it's been really, really phenomenal. And I feel so flattered and undeserving of kind compliments and things that, I feel like such a rookie at all of this in my own right. But I wanted to tell you that I wasn't a very good student. So I sit here now about to take a board exam and, potentially, hopefully, fingers crossed, get my license to practice. And I'm at a point where I'm thinking about entrepreneurship in my own right, down the road, thinking about plans for the future. But there was a time when I was terrible at school. And, for someone who you might think, wow, that guy looks like he has it together, I think it cut off before I could record, or the recording cut off last time during Facebook Live. I failed 2 written exams in PT school. I failed at least 2, I want to say maybe 3 practical exams in PT school. And I don't know how every program works, but in ours you get like one more try. And it came down to those, and luckily I put in the work to make it happen, but the school part for PT school was never easy for me. I had no background in science other than the minimum amount of prerequisite courses you had to take. I'd studied international studies and Spanish, and I was all about language arts and refused to take science classes until I made this decision to go to PT school. So if you're there and you're struggling right now, you're not alone. And I've been there. I can speak for so many people in my program and classmates. And if you're out there listening to this and you're one of them, you know that we have struggled as well. And it's okay. And it's okay to struggle. It's actually a really great thing in hindsight, when afterwards, when you can look back and reflect. The struggle is what's real. The struggle is a similar way. It's a similar thing that our patients are going through or will be going through when you're treating them, in that you're meeting them at a point in life where they are having a difficult time doing things that they feel like they should be able to do. The same way you and I feel like we should be able to pass tests, or that we're smart enough to do these things, and that we should be able to accomplish whatever it is we want to do. But the reality is we hit these blocks in life. And ours is academic, and I think sometimes we look at it like, that's our own fault because we put ourselves in this situation. Whereas when we look at a patient, sometimes we think, maybe sometimes the circumstances weren't in their control, and that's why they're in pain, or that's why they're in this position where they can't help themselves. And what we can do no matter what, and I know that one of my personal strengths is as a therapist to be is connecting with people and communicating with people. And the one thing that you can always do, because you've gone on this journey of pushing yourself academically, even though you're struggling right now, those struggles are what's going to help you connect when you have a patient who's also struggling. It doesn't have to be the exact same type of struggle. It just means that you have to understand and really feel what it's like to have difficult times. And those are the times that make us connect with the person in front of us. So if you're struggling right now, if you're in school, if you have a test coming up, if you're just in life and you're hitting a point where things aren't looking good, and I'm speaking because the last few days have been really, really rough, and I've been negative on myself. And I had a phone call with my mom yesterday, and normally I have a really positive attitude with my mom, and I just couldn't get rid of the negative energy I had in me. I just felt like I wasn't doing enough and I wasn't being good enough. And the reality is you are, and we are all good enough. We all have whatever it takes to be special. It's just there are times in life that there are going to be days that set you back a little bit and make you have to reflect and think. And that is what's developing that muscle of integrity, that muscle to drive, to push, to get through. And it's the same thing that's going to help us when we talk to a patient who's in that position, and we know exactly what that feels like in our own right. So, if you're out there, if you're having a rough go of it, whether you're in school, wherever you are in life, I just want to say that I'm with you, and we will get through these days, these weeks, whatever it takes, and we're going to become better versions of ourselves. And that's what this struggle is about. So this was sort of an event session for me, and I needed to get it out, but I figured there are people out there who are going through a similar thing. Don't let the struggle weigh you down too much. It'll be worth it in the end. You are incredible. You are special. Everything that you're doing is to push yourself further, and don't forget that. So, regardless of a test score, regardless of how productive you felt like you were today, you're in a position to continue to improve and go push your boundaries and move yourself forward. So if that's you, I'm proud of you. And if that's you, just keep pushing till tomorrow. All right, guys. I hope this records all of that. If not, hey, we'll try it again. You guys take care. Have a great night. Keep pushing yourself.